Thanks everyone for coming and joining the Outpost podcast today. I'm your host, One Yeti. You can call me Joe. I am joined by Pritch, who you can find on Twitch as Pritch5. You can also find him as Pritch on YouTube. Go and watch his New World PvP with no ranged weapons video. It was genuinely a video that had me laughing in stitches, holding my sides after a few of the. It wasn't even the PvP, Pritch. It was some of the one-liners. And
I
I'm not
hope
going to
it
spoil
wasn't
that.
the PvP. The PvP part wasn't that great. I'm not the best of the best, but
I'm not. I'm not going to ruin the one-liners, but search Pritch on YouTube. Watch his New World PvP no ranged weapons video. There's some good one-liners and some quality, like some funny PvP in there. But it was some of the one-liners. We're also joined with Heatz. Heatz you can find on Twitch, twitch.tv/Heatz, and that's spelt with a Z. And then you add 3 underscores at the end, and you can find him there.
You're right, who would have thought that 1 and 2 underscores has already been taken, and even on New World, right? Heatz has already been taken on my world. I don't know who the hell this guy is, but I swear it's a personal vendetta against me.
They log into every new release, every new bit of software, and they take the first 2 underscores just to make it so you've got 3. So there's a whole Reddit post about it. We follow it. On that note, guys, we 3 are going to take you through the Outpost podcast today. The Outpost podcast for the first ever episode. This is an exclusively New World info, banter, comedy, bit of guides, bit of everything. We'll just probably talk a load of shit about the game today. To kick us off on episode 1, but these will be released every single Sunday. If you guys in the community want to get involved, Anchor's got this really cool feature. You can click the link underneath this recording and you can actually leave us a voice note, and then next time around we can include your voice notes. We can chat about the subjects you want us to chat about. For now, me, Pritch and Heatz, we're just going to get on talking about, what is it, one week we've had of New World beta, lads?
not even. It's been like 4 days. I think this is day 5, right?
So I know Heatz didn't. Pritch, did you play in the alpha at all?
I didn't play in the alpha. No, my only experience is beta.
Okay, cool. So we're all on the same page then. Going into this, we're all beta heads, unless Heatley, unless you played in alpha and you didn't tell me.
No. I only started playing yesterday actually. I've only started playing yesterday, and it's like the first MMO I've actually properly played. I'm a bit of a virgin when it comes to MMOs. So I'm like the brand new player perspective, I guess.
I like that. So I've played WoW, Guild Wars 2, all that kind of stuff. Heatley, you've known me for years. You know MMOs are like my cocaine.
Yeah. Crippling drug addiction. No.
Yeah. That have had like a direct vein into my bank account for 3 decades now. But I genuinely, I don't know the answers to these questions. I kind of want everyone to know. I don't know what we're going to end up like. I don't know what the answers to these questions are going to be. So I want to ask, with 2 days in, Heatley, what level have you got to?
I am rocking a very very high level 10 or 11.
Nice. So broken double digits.
Yeah.
What have you got up to, Pritch?
All right, so I actually have 2 different characters. So my first character was on Olympus, and I started grinding that. And then I realized that's literally the server where everyone is on, because like Tim the Tapman's on there, Asmongold's on there, Courage is on there.
Really?
Like literally like all the big streamers decided to join that server, so all of their followers decided to join that server. So every time I try to load into that character, I have at least a 45-minute wait. And then if anything goes wrong and I have to restart the client, then I have another 45 minutes before I can even like touch the character again. And obviously it's a beta, so like I do have to relog quite a bit.
So every maintenance for you is 45 minutes longer if you stayed on that server.
Yes. So I have some buddies. I've done Guild Wars 2 a lot over the last year or so, and I got buddies from there that are playing New World, and so they're on a different server. So literally, like 2 days ago, at night, I decided to start a new character on their server. And I think in like 5.5, 6 hours, I wound up getting to level like 18 or so. And then I basically played that character for like a day and a half. That character is level 22 or 23. And then the Olympus character that I was playing on for 2.5 days, I got to level 25, I believe.
Okay, so you've beat, like literally just before we started today, I like grinded out the last few quests I could to hit 20. So Pritch, you're the furthest ahead. You're the most knowledgeable. Heatz, you're coming in with the perspective of the new MMO player. This is cool. Right, sweet. So the next big thing, which is even more important than what you've grinded out level-wise already, which weapons are you guys sort of settling on? Like, what's your combo? What are you finding yourself leaning towards weapon-wise?
So you start with a sword, don't you? So I've played that a bit, and then but I had a brief encounter with the spear, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Just yeeting spears at the little
Yeah,
zombie
yeah,
things
yeah.
on the beach, nailing them in the head and having them waddling towards you, with the spear like flapping around in their head. That was been quite funny. And
It's
then
great in PvP when somebody hits you with a spear and you're like killing them while you have a spear impaled in you.
and then I've been using the life stuff actually. I've been going down like the
Okay,
healing route, and
nice.
it's slightly buggy though. I think they had a big I think I'm not sure if it was you probably did it. There's a massive like maintenance patch last night which hit
Yeah,
8 p.m. UK time on a Saturday. Cheers Amazon. Best
thanks.
time to do it for us European players,
Yeah.
wankers. Um and
It was
since then,
unplanned maintenance as well,
I
just
was gonna,
not to take away from the
yeah.
weapons.
To be
It
fair,
was
like
unplanned.
yeah, it was because there were some broken stuff in the game. Like,
Like they did, so I got up super early to play and beat the queues. They had the 4 hour maintenance in the morning, and then like I went out and did some like family stuff and whatever. Came home and I was like, oh, New World, I can just sit here and like sit in my underpants and play New World till whatever
sit
time
in
in
the
the morning.
Fiesta.
I come on and I was like, oh, it's offline. Okay, I guess I'll go spend time with my family. Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to weapons.
Yes, using the life staff, but I
Fear and
think
life stuff, yeah.
since the servers come back online, I found that I can't heal. Like it's glitched or something. Just cannot heal at all. So I'm a healer who can't heal, which is not very helpful. So I've started using the axe to try and mitigate the fact I can't heal. So
Yeah,
yeah.
fair. Maybe someone in Pritch's stream can confirm, or maybe Pritch you can confirm. The self heals on the life staff aren't as good as the output heal. So if you heal a second person in your party, it seems stronger than if you self heal. Or maybe I'm just going mad and it's actually I'm just not that good a
I've
healer.
honestly never touched the life staff yet. I really
Right.
haven't touched the magic weapons just yet, but I've had my brother followed me around with a life staff for a while, and I've had a buddy of mine, Nightbuds, follow me around with a life staff for a bit, and like it heals really well. It can get bugged sometimes. It's like what you're describing, Heats, where it just won't let you heal yourself for some reason. I don't know what's causing that bug or what it's about or anything like that. But in terms
Apparently
of
it's to
like,
do with that area heals or something in general. Is a bit, or I think it's targeted heals are not working.
yeah,
Or
it,
I think
Yeah.
it's more targeted, but area
I-
heals are fine or
they've
something
had
like
to
that.
relog, and after relogging, it tended to fix the problem, at least for a little bit.
Oh, okay. So maybe
I
it's
can
my
say I had to go earlier and I used it for maybe an hour and didn't have too many problems, but I thought the self heals
maybe
were
it's just me
lower.
then. Maybe I just have to relog in and it'll sort its shit out.
Going back to your point about the spear, the fact the collision, the unit, the actual spear itself stays in the victim you've hit. When you hit a headshot with a spear and they run at you with a 6 foot spear hanging out of their eye, that and the same with the hatchet. That is the best thing in the game. Like it's just quality. Like
Congrats on hitting him in the head. I only get him in the leg or the ass.
oh, it's just so satisfying when you know, like, especially when it's been a long yeet, when it's been like a 30-meter jobby, and then they run at you and you're like, that's where I hit. Nice.
Yeah, I think my the favorite thing for me apart from that, slight sidetrack from the weapons, is the whole whenever you run out of a town, you just see everyone doing their best Amazon deforestation effort. Just everyone's just cutting trees,
Yeah.
like killing any animal which is moving, like ripping every single mineral out of the earth and just leaving like a
Yeah.
desolate wasteland. It just cracks me up every time.
Yeah, agreed. It's like the same population that's inside the city is outside, taking care of every single palm tree, every single boulder. Yeah.
And
Fair
they
cop.
made it look really good. Like aesthetically, this game looks really stinking good. The
Yeah,
environment,
Yeah.
Agreed.
and it feels good to gather. Like the gathering feels really good.
Definitely. And that's do you know what? I think that's the noise, the knock that you get when you
Yeah.
hit wood. It's
Mhm.
like satisfying to hit a tree. So shove it up your
It
ass.
does run
Russ.
well. Like I'm running, I don't know what spec you guys have got, but I've got a 1060. So it's not like a new card. It's a few years old, and like on
Runs
high
alright, yeah?
high high settings, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
the GPUs are around 95, so it's on the top end, but FPS is still like 55 frames, steady as a rock. No real issues, and it still looks pretty decent. So
Yeah.
I'm
Fair.
impressed.
Yeah, no, I've had no problems other than like when the servers are going down and going up. I've had no problems with like lag or like even when you get into a heavy bit of combat and there's loads going on. Still looks good. Still looks beautiful, clean.
Yeah.
Coming back to weapons, Pritch, what are your two weapon choices?
So open world, like especially if you're solo, if you're not running the hatchet, what are you doing? Like
Agreed.
Berserk is broken. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way it comes out on launch in the same state. So in New World, you don't passively regen your health. If you want to regen your health, you're either drinking a potion or you're eating some food, or you're using a weapon that has some sort of healing to it, right? And there's a healing weapon, it's a life staff, so you're either going to run the life staff or the hatchet. And the hatchet does everything you want it to do in open world. So the reason it's so broken in Berserk is you activate it, and then for 15 seconds, you get a 20% DPS boost, and the hatchet already does great damage, especially on the left tree line. You get basically like a third of your health back over those 15 seconds. It procs every 5 seconds, and it's going to proc 3 times. And then you also get 15 seconds of haste, which is the other huge thing in this game is like you constantly are having to run from point A to point B, back to point A, back to point B, and then like it's just running all over the place, and there's not mounts, and the fast travel's kind of. I'm not the biggest fan of how they're doing it with the Azoth stuff, but needless to say, you can't just endlessly fast travel. You actually have to like do stuff, complete missions, kill a bunch of mobs to gain Azoth. But you're basically gonna run around a lot.
Have they said that mounts just aren't going to be a thing in this?
I read that they were trying to get them right. It was just not. It was going to be an extension of your character, and it's going to be something a bit more than, oh, you've got a horsey, and like it was going to be something a bit special. So
it does feel like even now, when I'm like level, I'm not obviously. I played like I don't know, 5 to 10 hours, not a huge amount of time, but even now it does feel like there's a lot of running about.
It is.
Just holding W and just going plod 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 for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then you get the quest in a similar zone to where you just were, so you run the route again.
Kick a pig in the head, run back 10 minutes,
and now go find some chests near where you kick the pig in the head.
Yeah, and literally that's like why haste is so stinking important. Is like because you do it faster.
Yeah, so I agree with you on the hatchet, and I realise you haven't given us your second weapon yet, so I'm going to come back to you on your second weapon thing. I love the hatchet, and I run the hatchet. I run it in the other tree. I run it for initiating with the 3 ranged attacks because you can pull a mob and do 50% of their health before they've even reached you a lot of the time. So I totally agree the hatchet's broken in its first instance, but it's really useful in the second.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, your second weapon choice, Pritch, before I cut you off and talk about my love of the hatchet.
So I've been flagged for PvP quite a bit. Like I've been the majority of my gameplay is flagged for PvP. So for me, it was like, all right, the hatchet is great for all the open world stuff I'm trying to do. Now I want something that I can try and kill people with. And it was funny because in the very beginning, like in that video you're talking about, I tried to use early on Great Axe Warhammer, and it took me forever to kill people because people can run away so easily in this game, which again makes haste so important. But I am loving Great Axe. I've been using Great Axe a lot. I use it for a 10-meter dash, for the Reap 8-meter pull, and then I've played around with using the Gravity Well to like suck people in and keep them in.
I love that ability.
It looks so really cool. Like animation,
it looks so good.
It's freaking sick. But then I've also been playing around with the execute ability, the third ability in the left tree, I believe, for just massive damage. It's fun. It works well. I really wish you could dodge to cancel your auto attack animations because
It's slow, isn't it? It's the only thing I found was that it was
it's
slow.
the combat is clunky at the moment, and I was talking with a buddy about this. Like so it feels clunky because one, your attack animations, you can't get out of most of them. Like most of them, you can't dodge cancel, which means if you're using a heavy weapon like a great axe or whatever, and you're in the middle of an auto attack, you're
just
gonna
committed,
do
right?
that auto attack. Like there's no stopping
Yeah.
that auto attack.
Yeah.
And then a lot of abilities kind of have like movement to them. So for example, the great axe has that 10-meter dash. The rapier has that 10-meter dash fletch. Both of those attacks, when they reach the like end point of the 10 meters, they don't carry the momentum that you've like been having to finish the animation. It's literally like you hit a wall. Like you do your 10 meters,
exhausted.
then you hit a wall, then your character is standing still rooted for like a second or two while you're finishing whatever animation you're doing. And it's things like that make it feel really clunky. And then it's also the fact that there's no queue time to the skill casts. So for example, right, like in Guild Wars, you were saying, if I press my second ability, and then while my second ability is being cast, I press my third ability. My third ability is in a queue and will literally go off and start the animation the moment the second one is done. And in New World, there's no queue. So basically, if I press one of my abilities, and while I'm in the middle of the animation of one of my abilities, I press the other ability or I press weapon swap, those abilities just won't happen. Like, and then you're stuck standing there because you thought you pressed something, but you didn't actually register it, and then you're standing there not doing anything, which just makes it feel clunky. All that to say, Great Axe is what I've been enjoying. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun PvP weapon. I think the Gravity Well works really well if you're in a group of people. And I think the Execute probably works better when you're solo, but you can play around with it.
Yeah, you can just, well, until level 20, you can switch it for free anyway. So
yeah. And even
switch
after,
up from
it
under
doesn't
the
cost
clouds.
much.
No, it's not expensive. So I'm going back to, I've been playing Hatchet, and then we've talked about that. I'm going full-blown tank. I've decided I'm going to put points into health. I'm going to make sure I'm the heaviest armor sucker out there. And I've gone sword and shield, just classic sword and board. And I'm actually, I used probably for 10 hours, I used the sword side of the tree. And then only in the last probably 2 hours before we started this, I started using the shield side. Oh my god, it's hilariously good fun. It's all stuns, it's all knockbacks, it's all like interrupts. It's hilarious. I actually told myself for PvP, got into one fight, and the guy just couldn't get a move in edgeways because you knock back, you push forward, you interrupt what they're doing, few slashes, and it must be so irritating to fight against. So, Hatchet, sword and shield for me. Great Axe, Hatchet for you, Pritch, and Heatley, life staff, and your initial one, spear.
I was using the spear.
Spear for the yeast.
I'm using the hatchet now as well. Kind of
Hatchet.
like you are. Hatchet.
Everyone's
berserker.
graduated to Hatchet.
got a hatchet.
I'm new to MMOs, and I already worked out the hatchet and berserk's a bit nutty.
If someone had come in and said, "Yeah, I'm playing rapier and fire staff," I'd have been shocked. I'm not gonna lie.
One of my buddies is literally playing that. And it's
Really?
strong. I mean, you do crazy high damage. You just don't have any sustain for open world anything. So like, if you're with a
tell you
group,
what I saw, and I tried them, and I thought, never trying them again. The ice gauntlets, the frost gauntlets, whatever they're called. I saw a video of those on Reddit literally a couple of hours ago, and it was a guild v guild scenario, and a few of them were using it with that massive kind of like area of effect.
Snowstorm.
It's called Snowstorm.
Oh, I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know the one I mean? Yeah, it looks Blizzard, Snowstorm, Avalanche. It'll be called something like that. It destroys. It absolutely wrecks. And these guys were coming down a path, and they just got absolutely mullered by about 3 guys with ice gauntlets. So I'm tempted to, after we're all done sitting here, I'm going to go get myself a pair of ice gauntlets off the auction house and have a look at those bad boys.
I think the Ice Gauntlet and the Warhammer are 2 weapons that I would say are like don't excel when it comes to, the 1v1 fights or the 2v2 fights maybe. But as soon as you start getting to like the bigger fights, then those are like supreme great weapons for big AoE, stuns,
Yeah.
damage, whatever. Like that's when I think those weapons start to shine a little bit.
If
Yeah, so
anyone,
it's more of the big fights where you just start swinging that bad boy left and right.
I really like the Great Hammer. It's a little bit slow to use it, and as you say, it's definitely not one for duels. But if you want to watch Thor 1, Thor 2, and then reenact being your hero, just go play Great Hammer and have a good time.
What if I want
Cool.
to reenact him when he's the fat guy playing Fortnite?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, mate, great bit of that film. Great bit of that film. Cool. Okay, so we're all up together on weapons. We all agree essentially you need to run hatchet. That's the most OP. Do we have a bottom of our ladder? Like hatchet's up the top. Do we have something that we're sort of like, just don't worry about that. Don't pick that up maybe when it's full release and they've buffed it a bit.
I haven't really played enough to know. All I've noticed, just looking at the absolute mob of people running around doing stuff. There's a lot of hatchets. There's a lot of swords. There's
Spears.
spears. There's quite a few as well. But I haven't seen a huge amount of like rapiers and I've seen a fair few muskets. I think. To be honest, I think it's probably quite even. I think there's probably everyone's trying out the weapons because it's a beta, right? And none of the progress is carrying over. So I think everyone's just going a bit mad and just trying everything. So
I don't see many fire staffs, and when I tried the fire staff, I was like,
I've seen more ice than fire, definitely.
Yeah. I think rapier and fire staff are the two I've seen the least.
I've definitely seen a decent amount of rapier. The fire staff, I would agree with, is probably the one I've seen. That or Warhammer are the two that I've seen the least.
I see a few Warhammers. Okay, that's interesting.
To be like,
it could be a US EU meta already starting.
I honestly haven't I haven't done these big scale battles too much yet. Like the one time in Olympus where I tried to go run over and it was like Tim the Tatman's army versus every syndicate in the game. And basically the TLDR on that is every single person used a musket. And it's basically like a firing line out there. The TLDR is musket is really good for PvP, and the bow is really hard to hit people in PvP. But if you can hit people, I mean, you do great damage. It's just the travel animation on bow, like musket is just way easier for the average player to hit.
I really like the musket. I really like I think it's called Burning Powder or something like that. Yep. It's one of the. It's such a good ability.
I think it's something they're going to have to like really address, like from the beta, just the server stability and stuff. Like considering all the aiming and stuff, it's all freehand essentially. There's no locking. Yeah. Like they have to get they have to get that nailed so there's no lag, or else it's going to absolutely ruin PvP if there's like loads of lag and stuff.
I think Pritch's point about the bow is bang on. Like it's high risk, high reward. If you're good with it, it rewards you with really good damage. I was flagged to PvP running around, and I was mining some iron or something like that. I got twatted by a bow in the ear, and it was like a third of my health pool was gone straight away, and I hadn't even retaliated. He was already loading up his next shot, but because of the I don't know the best way to put it, but the animation of the arrow flying through the air, you do have to, like if they're running, you have to lead your shots. Yes, he had a free shot. Yeah, he had a free shot because I was mining, asshole. But if you're playing it properly, you have to, if they're running a path, you have to lead the shot. And I think the risk reward, the skill, and then the damage benefit, I think the bow's in a good place. I think the bow's right at the moment.
I agree. It also does great damage in PvE, like because obviously the mobs, aren't trying to zigzag and serpentine their way either to or from you. Like, so it's in a great place for PvE. It's just hard in PvP. Like, it's just hard. That's all it is. I'm coming at it as a not great gamer apparently. So.
Even PvE at level 10, I was trying to hunt a turkey, and then the turkey, I don't know if he paid like some random. I don't know. This turkey paid like this hog protection money, but this I don't know. It had a skull. I couldn't even see the level. This hog just turned around and just bitch slapped me and just killed me in one shot. And I was like,
Boars bouncers.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's some type of protection racket going on.
Between turkeys and pigs.
Yeah, something.
They're sick of being roast. They're sick of being roast dinners, mate. They've joined up.
They knew what happened the last time some Americans came to shore, and they're not trying to repeat that.
So, So I want to be quite like analytical about this. and ask you guys your pros and cons, your positives and negatives. And I want to keep it, even if we can, about New World so far. I mean, don't get me wrong, my experience, overwhelmingly positive. A couple of gripes. But what are you guys, what are you guys' best bits so far? Or maybe the bit that kind of like came out of beta that you were like, I didn't expect that from the trailer. I didn't expect that to be that good. And then on the flip side of the coin, anything that's like, that bugs me. That annoys me. That gets me.
I mean, I think it's probably a bit different for me than you guys because you're obviously both quite experienced in MMOs and stuff. While I'm kind of taking this from from both as a new player, but also quite new to MMOs, and the depth is just insane. And I don't know whether that's a new world thing in terms of the stuff you can do. So like the crafting is like there's loads of crafting, there's the equipment stuff, and then even within the hamlets, there's like so much to do in terms of you can buy a house, you can like run a town, you can upgrade fortresses and stuff. Like the depth just seems nuts. Like there's so much to do. So I've been impressed as well. And then even for a new player, like the tutorial, there isn't really. I guess there's the tutorial at the start on the beach where you flap your sword around and you do all your missions to do build you into it. It seems very well done. It's quite easy to follow, and yeah, I've been impressed. Like it's been good. It's been really really good for a new player. Like it's all made sense. None of it's too confusing. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff I don't understand because of the complexities, but there's nothing which I've come across where I'm just like completely overwhelmed of like, oh, okay, I'm never gonna understand what the hell is going on here.
It's
Like,
pretty friendly.
yeah, it all seems it's obviously complex, but it seems to kind of explain every mechanic fairly well.
Yeah, I agree.
Out the ones I've seen so far.
Do you know, I didn't even think about that as a positive. Like, yeah, fair point.
Yeah, but downside, yeah, I think the fast travel thing to me doesn't really. It's even 10 hours in the whole running around. It feels a bit too much. There's a bit too much running around for the sake of running around, and more ways to fast travel would probably be good for me. And then obviously, I think the server stability as well. I know it's a beta, but still, like if the servers on launch are going to be as kind of buggy or prone to going down as often, then it's obviously going to be quite bad. It's going to annoy a lot of people.
I think on that one, me personally, I totally agree. I would give them the benefit of the beta doubt on that one. That's my thing. That's what I'm calling it. Benefit of the beta
I mean, it's
doubt.
Amazon, right? If Bezos can get himself to the moon, then I think he can get himself to space. I reckon he might be able to, fork out a few quid for some stable.
He's nothing to do with it though. He's not even the head boy on it. The Amazon Lumberyard team and the studio behind it. He's nothing to do with it. He's literally on a different planet.
I know, it says Amazon.
As we say this, New World's just gone down for maintenance.
Has it actually?
Literally, yeah. Ash has just messaged me saying, "Are you fucking kidding me? It's gone down for maintenance. 6 o'clock on a Sunday when people want to get their gaming time in before work tomorrow.
2 hours earlier than yesterday, but yeah, it's not a great time.
Come on, that's not cool. You can't do that." Oh wow, that's harsh. Right, benefit of the beta. What did I say? Benefit of the beta doubt. I'm going to give them.
Well, exactly. If they obviously are trying to address it. They've done two maintenances in 24. Well, it's basically less than 24 hours, isn't it? They've done 2 maintenances, so they're obviously concerned and trying to address it as much as possible. So yeah, obviously they're trying to fix it, which can only be classed as good.
Mark my. Okay, so I'm happy to go on record and be quoted on this one. Mark my words now. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
I'll be chill with this. I'll be chill. I'll be absolutely fine with this.
Craig's listening, mate. Moody. Just letting you know, Craig will have this.
I'm going to be chill with this until August 30th or 31st, whichever it is, when this launches, because it's in beta, and I bought it in beta knowing I wasn't getting the full experience and it wasn't the finished ticket. The minute it's the finished article, you mess with my Sunday gaming, you mess with my evening before work, there's going to be a very moody podcast. There's going to be I'm going to say some stuff to anyone who'll listen.
I was going to echo that, like literally the point of the beta is to stress test their servers. So
fine. Fine.
However long you need to do maintenance, whatever you want to do on your ends, it's okay. Yeah, it sucks as the player who wants to play the game. but we're not here to play the game. We're here to play the beta, and the whole point of it is for them to test. So
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm cool with it. Like, you're not gonna like. Yes, it sucks, but I'm not here to crap on them or whatever. Like,
Nah.
Yeah,
it's what
agreed.
it's for.
They got to do what they got to do at the end of the day.
Yeah. And these ones that are in the middle of the day, these aren't planned. Like, like they're not like they didn't schedule it and sit down and they were like, let's ruin these guys' weekend. No, like things are broken in the game that they need to fix. Like, so it's.
I'm sure they didn't. It's just how it feels.
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
No, I get it. It's not intentional. So we'll let them off. Okay, so other than server maintenance and how great it is bringing in new players into MMOs, Heatz, you said about the crafting. I think this is one of the best crafting systems. It's one of the deepest crafting systems.
Yeah, I don't know how it compares
Since
to like
Guild
other
Wars
MMOs.
2.
Yeah.
GW2 had a very, very good crafting system. I remember really liking Guild Wars for crafting, but I added 2 gems to my weapons. I felt like it was a little bit Guild Warsy, it was a little bit Diablo-y, and it was a little bit something all of its own. So yeah, the crafting system, I back you 1,000,000% Heatz. I think that's a really, really good shout.
Yeah.
Pritch, what are your positives, man? What are you loving that you didn't know you were gonna love?
So I want to give a huge shout out. Aesthetically, this game looks amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I can't praise it highly enough for the fact that like they've made a really beautiful world. Like, and it looks good and it feels good to be in the world, playing in it, interacting. I think it's cool because every single, you need to be level 30 to gather, you need to be level 50 to mine, like everything that's a little bit higher than base level things in the game looks really cool. Like, you got the dragon thingies that are like spitting out some fire every time you come near them before you got to gather them and stuff like that. So aesthetically, I think the game looks amazing. I think it's been really fun to play. The combat is really interesting. It's definitely like Dark Soul. It feels like Dark Souls plus Skyrim kind of combined together, and I really liked Skyrim. And it does feel. You can't just turn your brain off and stand there and take everything in the game unless you're running a hatchet, obviously. But other than that, like, you can't just stand there and take it because like you don't regen your health. So like you have to actually dodge ads. You have to actually block ads. You have to try and get behind them if you want to crit on backstabs and stuff like that. So I think the combat is fun in an engaging way like that. But that's going to, again, just lead into my kind of the negative aspect of the combat system for me is it still feels really clunky, and I really wish that they would, I wish they would add a queue so that if I'm in the middle of an animation and I go to press something, that it will register and do that ability next, instead of saying, no, you have to press the button as soon as the first animation is done. Because it's leading to a lot of kind of just feeling clunky, and I think I've weapon swapped, but I haven't actually weapon swapped. I would also love it if weapon swapping canceled animations. I would love it if dodge rolling canceled animations, particularly auto attacks. Like, I'm cool with some abilities not being able to be canceled. I'm fine with that. But let me cancel auto attacks. Like just let me cancel the freaking auto attacks. Especially because, as somebody using the Great Axe, my auto attack takes like 1.5 seconds. And like, I want to, when I fight somebody in a PvP setting, right, and I know, oh, they're about to do this, or I see the animation they pressed, let me press shift, or let me press whatever my dodge is, reactively to dodge, Where the game set is that where if you want to be really good at PvP in terms of dodging abilities or avoiding stuff, you're playing a prediction game, not a reactive game. You have to predict what they're going to do, because if you press something, you're stuck for 1.5 seconds, right?
Yeah, it's same with them as well, right? If you once you see the start of the animation, they can't cancel it as well.
Yeah,
they're committed.
Yeah. I totally agree. There's so many times where I see the start of their animation and I want to bring my shield up.
Yep.
But I'm already in kind of like halfway through an auto attack, and I'm like, I'm now going to pay for that for less than 5 milliseconds of what would have been a shield up. So yeah, I completely get you. I get you, and I think you should be rewarded for reacting, not having guesswork and going.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Yeah,
It feels better. Like as a player, it feels better, right? It feels like I have more agency in the situation.
more skill. You feel talented for
exactly.
blocking what you saw coming.
Right.
It's simple as that.
And I want it to be the reciprocal, right? Like if somebody I'm fighting against sees me do an animation, like I don't care what they're in the middle of. If they're quick enough and good enough to react to it and dodge or block or whatever they want to do, like they deserve to not get hit with whatever I'm trying to throw at their way.
Yeah. Agreed.
So yeah, so Q system, get rid of clunkiness, let weapon swap or dodge roll cancel animations, particularly auto attack animations at least. And then they need to change how stamina regen works, especially for light armor classes, because it's crazy how easy it is to run away in prolonged fights. Like it's way too easy if people are flagged for PvP to just run from fights. It's insane. You can literally like double dodge roll, and then you'll get your stamina back, and you'll be able to double dodge roll within like 2 seconds. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah, and then if you're a heavy weapon, you just can't get after them, and they just run off into the distance.
Well, I had this problem earlier with
the wanker symbol.
I had this problem earlier with the guy with the bow. I couldn't close the gap. I had nothing to get near.
Yeah, you're so salty about this guy with the bow.
This guy's been traumatized over here.
I had completed. I was just getting some iron for the area quests. But I had completed 3 PvP quests, and I was not far from home. Anyway, I'm gonna stop mentioning the guy with the bow.
Oh, let me on a quick note on that, because I tested this out. There are PvP faction quests, right? You have to be flagged for PvP. You go out, you do your quests. Okay, if you, just as a TLDR for people, if you do the quest and they are completed and all you have to do is return them to wherever, you got them from, if you die or try to respawn, you have failed the quests. So you can't fast travel. You have to run back.
Yes.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. So there's me. The first time I did it, there's me thinking, right, I'll pop back now on the old inn. No, you got to walk it, fat boy.
How do you feel about the whole? It's only you can only respawn. Well, you can only fast travel the inn once per hour, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
To your recall spot, yeah.
A recall asset. Sorry.
I think that's okay. I mean, just give you an example of a competitor that does it differently. World of Warcraft Heatz, you get 30 minutes. So it's longer than average, but it's not like game breaking.
My thing is, and I don't know if you guys are utilizing this, when you're not flagged for or at least when you're not doing PvP missions, like you can press escape, hit respawn, it'll kill you, and you instantly will port, like your options are wherever your inn is, wherever the nearest settlement is, and wherever your camp is. So basically, if you're, finishing your quest runs, you literally can just kill yourself and then respawn in the town. My question is, why do we have to go through the action of killing ourselves? Just let us,
exactly.
It's like we have this middle step for no reason. Like, why kill ourselves? Why not just let us fast travel?
You have to concede, though, that you're going to die. It's like a punishment for
it. I don't know. That's a little bit weird to me, but...
So we've gone through. We like the weapons for the most part. We like the combat. We want to be able to defend better, but we love the graphics. One thing as well, I'm going to chuck in there. The community is really fucking sound. I actually really, really like the community. I've been on the forum.
I don't know. I've seen my fair share of toxic assholes. It's an MMO, I guess. You always
percentage toxic assholes for player base. I haven't seen that many, and people on the forums, people on Reddit especially. Like I do a lot on Reddit, and that's how I got talking to you, Pritch. People on Reddit are pretty sound. Like anyway, so community.
I've only looked at like the in-game chat, and it's the usual stuff of people going, "Oh fuck you, fuck you."
I
haven't seen any of that. I haven't seen any of that. I've been.
Oh really?
No, I got into a guild on day one just because they were inviting everybody, and the Discord, the guild, they're all really sound as well. They're all really nice people. So I've not seen F you and all that sort of shit in chat.
Oh, maybe
I'm sure it's out there.
It's because Heat's been killing people more, so people are raging at him a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
my
level 10 character just going around just wrecking
Brilliant.
people.
So we got through all of our negatives as well without saying.
There's two more.
dead
All right,
invisible
there's kind of
trees.
two things I want to hit real fast
all right.
before we leave that. Okay, one is I really don't like the fact that you have to do a percentage amount of damage of a mob's health before it will register as giving you kill credit. And I'm specifically talking about story quests for the most part here. There are a bunch of story quests that say go kill XYZ, right?
Yeah.
You can hit, Jimmy, the skeleton, twice with your great axe and not get kill credit because you didn't do enough damage because there were also 20 other people there that also hit it 2 or 3 times, and only like 2 of those people will get kill credit. And it literally just leads to everyone mob farming, like standing there.
Is it a fixed percentage?
I think it's like it feels like 40%. I'm pretty sure it's got to be between 35 and 45%.
That sounds like quite a lot. If you've got like a load of lads trying to hit the same guy,
it's not fun. They're like I don't know why that made it through into the beta as a good idea. Is like so my personal recommendation on that is I think there should be a difference between tagging a mob for kill credit, as in I have hit this mob, it has died. If I have a quest that says kill this mob, I have completed that quest, and hitting a mob and tagging the mob for a chance at a drop.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool with the system they want to do for a chance at a drop. That's fine with me. But don't make everybody wait for a mob that spawns every 10 minutes for a chance to potentially complete the quest. And if not, stand there and watch, 5 more people come to try and do the same thing. Like, it doesn't feel good. I'm not a huge fan of that. And on the same note, they have the same with gathering and skinning and all this stuff in the open world. I don't mind the fact that it's not instanced, as in, like, if there's a resource in the world and me and Heatz and Joe all see it at the same time and we run after it, whoever gets to press F to interact with it first will get it and the other 2 can't. I'm okay with that, except for when it comes to skinning. I don't like the fact that I could kill something. Let's say I'm using a musket. I shoot a deer in the head. Deer dies. And then Heatz just happens to be closer to it, runs up and he skins it. Yeah, and then I don't get to skin it.
Yeah.
Like
he gets your premium hide.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that you can skin things that you haven't at least tagged. Like, at least make them tag it to skin it.
The only thing worse than that is if you were skinning it and suddenly you get shot in the head by an arrow.
Yeah. That's happened. That's worst. I can guarantee. And
he's taking a few arrows to the knees.
Do you know? I have to, like I say, I completely agree with your point, Pritch. But I'm stuck on. I feel like if this podcast blows up and if Outpost becomes like the biggest thing and we get anywhere notoriety with Amazon, I feel like Jimmy the Skeleton needs to be a new world boss. Like, just because you came up with Jimmy the Skeleton, I love that. So anyway,
give Jimmy a chainsaw. Can we just give him a chainsaw? I think that would be freaking sick. Just have him like run around with a giant chainsaw.
And then we need a basilisk, big Baz, big Barry.
I did quite a bit of questing around like the bay and the pirate areas and things like that today. They need to make the dual pistols a player-based weapon. How good would that be, right?
That'd be fun.
Anyway, right. So these are our thoughts. These are.
Sorry, give me one more. There's just one more. There's just one more thing.
I don't want to cut you off. Yeah.
You know what really grinds my gears?
You know what grinds my So, I love the aesthetics. I think it all looks great. I am a little bit concerned about the fact that it feels really bare bones with the questing. Like, 95% of the quests in this game are go somewhere and loot the chests, go somewhere and kill X amount of mobs, go somewhere and kill this one elite mob. Like, those are your quests. That is what you will do. And it's fun. This is new. This is a new game. We're experiencing, like, it's enjoyable for now. How long until that becomes not enjoyable to kill your, 10,000th wolf or your 10,000th zombie with, a club, like there's not a ton of variety
Yeah,
when it comes
I get
to
you.
like the questing, and there's also not a ton of variety when it comes to the actual ads in the game and like their mechanics. So I guess my concern with this is the longevity of how long this is gonna feel really fun.
I think.
And the solution is
Yeah.
just create more quests that are different, like and that feel different, that play out different, that maybe have different mechanics. More mobs that do different things, and so I have a little concern there.
I'm gonna jump on the Amazon fanboy wagon. I'm gonna put a bit of a defense in there.
Okay.
I agree. I mean, while I'm in first light, I agree. While I'm in the area, I'm doing somewhat the standard MMO quests.
Right.
Retrieve, kill a mob, retrieve and kill the elite, and get some nice gear for it. That's like what you build an MMO set of quests off day one in the studio. I like the corruption stuff. I think the world events, the corruption's cool, and I think that adds variety. And I think we can't forget between level 10 and level 25 that the three of us are. I think we can't forget that this game was heavily, if not 50-60% built for PvP. And I don't mean open world PvP. I mean stuff like the wars and stuff like that, which I haven't yet had a chance to experience. I think you said that you had a bit of an experience with it, Pritch. And Heatley, I'm not sure.
No, not yet. I'm too
you've had a
low.
chance.
It,
So
it does seem quite fleshed out though, doesn't it? The whole
that's
guild thing, the whole PvP aspect, and the
Yeah.
whole man get a
Yeah.
faction
I mean,
going.
that's the end game for sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of like that's what we're questing to get to, right? That's what we want. We want to go up against other players, prove we're better, and fight for our factions and win more land and gain territory. And I think once you get to that, you'll be like, I don't care about the questing because I'm kicking ass with my guildies, So I get what you're saying, Pritch. I don't think you're wrong. Just going to defend the end objective.
Yeah, true. I mean, the closest I've probably got, the closest MMO I suppose I can compare, which I played, is like Destiny 2, where, like they still need to have like some big PvE events. Like you had like the massive like heroic raids and the raids in Destiny. Like,
I haven't done a dungeon yet. Like
they're
stuff,
epic.
there's
I haven't done a dungeon in this. But I'm just thinking back, like the I
Yeah.
don't know if you played like Destiny 2, but like some of those massive raids are they're epic. Like the PvE ones, they're amazing. So yeah, as much as the game's built as you're saying, John, like PvP, but I hope they do have a quite a good fleshed PvE aspect as well. Because again, like I don't think everyone is gonna. Not everyone's going to be playing it as part of a guild all the time and stuff, and they might want to do their own thing,
Yep.
Yeah,
not everyone's going to be in it for the PvP.
Yeah.
No, true. Okay, well look, these are our thoughts and theories between 10 and 25 levels in. These are
It's going to be quite interesting to see how these opinions change in like a month's time. Between now and like the end of the beta, for example.
We'll find out next week. But here's what so I wanted to look at, and we'll make this kind of like our big last talking point. But this is something I looked at for about an hour, a couple hours earlier today, this morning, when I was having my morning cup of tea. I was reading the forums, and I looked at the top 6 posts on the forums, and I was going to read them to you guys, and I just want to get like whether you agree or disagree with the community, whether you think the community's onto something with these posts, or whether you think actually, nah, that wouldn't work.
Let's do it.
So shoot.
I took 5, and I took 1 honorable mention, and I'll save the honorable mention for a bit.
The honorable mention is going to be his own post.
No, let me get in there, Pritch. None of these were written by me. They're all
fucking archers.
And fucking archers. You know, none of these are written by me because the spelling's all really good and the grammar's perfect. So none of them are written by me. Okay, so the fifth post was called "Leveling is Too Fast," and it was a couple of paragraphs about somebody saying that they're leveling up too fast. Now, I'm interested to see whether you guys agree or disagree. Me, I completely disagree. I think the leveling is right. I think
go outside, nerd. No, joke.
I don't think that's fair. I don't think you do level too fast in this game. I think it's an okay level. I think it's an okay burn. I think if you line up your quests, you can do a lap of the area you're in and get some good XP each time. I think the leveling's at the right level. It's not too slow, not too fast. It's Goldilocks.
I mean, I played
What do you
for, I
reckon?
don't know, between 5 and 10 hours and I'm at level 11. It doesn't seem particularly fast early on. Like it seems really, I guess it's kind of like, I guess the very, very early stuff's kind of paced because you can't really do stuff until you get to like level 5 when you don't unlock stuff. So I think
Yeah.
the early game it's paced a bit, it's probably paced the right way just to
For the
slowly unlock
tutorial.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
similar. It's similar. It's not. It's kind of after the tutorial as well because when you get to like level 5, you unlock like gear slots and bags and stuff, don't you? So I think it makes sense early on for the leveling to be the way it is, where you just slowly unlock stuff, especially if a new shitter like me is new to MMOs, just to slowly add more and more things as you go along. But I don't know how it is like in the tail end, like where you guys are. But like some of the guys I play with, like they're like level 35, and there's quite a lot of like 30 plus levelers just running around the servers. Like, I don't know what the level cap is on the beta. Is it
It's 60. Josh OG's done it, hasn't he? Josh OG
Yeah, it's
is.
60.
I mean, I haven't seen many people above like 35. Like,
I haven't seen many people above 30. I have to say, but I disagree. Leveling's too fast. What do you reckon, Pritch?
So, all right, for me to answer this game, they there what when did this post happen? I'm curious because if it happened like a day
These
or
are
two
within
ago,
the last. These are all within the last 5 days, and this had something like 4,000 views,
okay.
and like 300 likes or something like
So
that.
there was I don't want to say bug, but there was an exploit in the game where before yesterday's patch, and it's still kind of the best way to get experience, but town board quests are the kind of best way to level quickly.
oh, I
And
noticed that actually.
there was an
You're,
exploit where there would be people that would just stand at the town board things, get the quests, people would send them the resources, and they literally would just fast level to like 50 or 60. And they patched that yesterday so that
Right.
there's a timer between the amount of times you're able to take a quest from the town board in that settlement and then do another round of town board things. So in that sense, yes, it was broken and it was busted, and people literally just fast leveled that way, and that was a good fix to put a timer on
Definitely.
that. I think so. The way you get experience, right? You do quests. You can do your syndicate, or I shouldn't say syndicate. You can do your, syndicate or covenant or marauder faction quests, right? You can do your town board quests. You can do your main quest. You can do your story quest, or you can do PvP. Those are kind of like all the areas that you can do experience in. I think that the faction quests are fine in terms of the XP they give. I think the town board quests are way out of whack. Like, you get way more experience for crafting something than you do for going out and actually doing a quest that takes way longer. Like, I get a thing from the town board, go craft a iron unbreakable blah blah
I grew
blah.
like a level over a level in one of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, to give reference, like a quest to go, search 7 chests in a place that's 800 meters away gives you like 400 XP. If I go craft an iron thing, which takes me like a minute to go run to the workbench, craft it, run back to the board, that gives like 2,000 experience. Or like 1,500, like I think it's way out of whack on where the experience is coming from. So it's not that I think that it's wrong. I think it should be reversed. I think the crafting thing should be less, and I think the go out and do stuff should be more on the town post things. And then for the
They just need to weight it better, basically.
for the what?
They just need to weight it better, so
Yeah,
less on the board XP, more on the quest XP.
Which isn't a more or less for me. It's just like a rebalance for me.
Yeah.
And then for the what was up?
I was about to say, but you're saying the speed at which you level, if you play the game properly, if you do all the faction quests and the board quests, you're saying it's an okay speed?
I wouldn't mind it being a little slower, honestly. I actually think
you're agreeing with the community.
I would. I actually think it's a little bit fast. I mean, I reached level 25 in like 2.5 days of playing, and the max level 60. Like, I do think it should take longer. And that was not me being optimal, by the way. That said, though, again, in terms of the scaling stuff, you currently get a 5% XP bonus on everything you do when you're flagged for PvP. I would love to see that be a 10% boost. You get great XP when you kill people, but I would love to see the reward be a little higher. Like, just in general.
Do you reckon that's like why that guy with the bow shot me?
Anyway.
Anyway. All right, okay, cool. Well, look, PvP brings me nicely onto post 4, the 4th most popular post this week. And actually the 2nd was basically the same thing. So I'm wrapping these up in one. 2nd and 4th place with the most views and the most likes in ratio per view. People are begging for PvP servers. People want servers where you are constantly flagged for PvP. Unless you're in a settlement, the moment you walk out the doors, you get your 30-second countdown, and every single person is PvP flagged at all times. That surely would be chaos. I can't see a world where that's not pandemonium or one company runs the server, and that's the only way it's safe to go out of the settlement. What do you think?
I haven't really done enough. I haven't really done much PvP, so I can't really comment. But it's one of those things where if the people want it, why wouldn't you give it to them?
Got to give the people what they want. The old classic phrase.
But then again, like, if people want to do PvP, they can just turn themselves on a normal. I think
the person who wrote this gets upset when he sees people he wants to kill and can't kill. The guy who, as Pritch quite rightly said earlier, goes over and takes his wolf pelt, and he wants to have scrap, and he's like, I wish there was a PvP server where I could kill this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Pritch, your thoughts? What do you think?
I mean,
PvP servers?
Here's my thing: is I don't see a problem if you like literally set it up that way, right? Like, well, the only people that are going to join the server are the people that want it. So I have absolutely no problem. Let the crazy people have their section of the internet and their section of the game, right? And then us normal people can be on other servers where we can turn it on and off.
Democracy rules, basically, right? If they want it, they can have it. And
yeah, exactly.
If it's popular, the servers will get populated. If it's not popular, people won't join it, and then you know that it's not actually what everyone wants.
So, Pritch, what you're essentially summarizing there is, it's a great idea, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not for me. Like, I'm going to get my butt handed to me. If I'm going to be real with you, I really think what it's going to be is levels matter a lot in this game. So it's literally like which guild of 50 or 2 guilds that are combined of 100 can get like 5 levels off their enemies and then just camp every single city's entrance. Like, it's literally, that's what you do, is you camp the city entrances so that people trying to come in or out of anything have to fight you. And then it's like a mob mentality, basically. If you take, 6 level 30s versus 10 or 12 level 24s, like, those 30s have a fat advantage. Like, 5 levels in this game is actually a lot.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we're saying PvP servers for the people that are brave enough, and the rest of us are going to go skin some wolf.
Yeah, and the rest of us will actually play a game like a normal human being.
I'm busy trying to kill Jimmy.
Jimmy the skeleton. Yeah. So I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. They are the community. You can have your PvP servers for those of you who want it. Third most popular post this week. And I swear to God I didn't write this, but it's almost as fanboy that you guys will think I wrote this. The title of it, and I was well intrigued by the title. The title was "Some people just don't understand." ... Some people just don't understand.
How hard it was getting hit with an arrow?
I thought it was man. I was just minding iron. I thought it was a cry for help, and I read it, and it wasn't. It was the exact thing we said earlier about this is a beta, and they were defending Amazon. I actually took 2 snips from it. So this has become a huge thing since the beta was released yesterday. People are assuming the game has no current flaws and should be perfect. Some people just don't understand. And it went on it could have been a twit longer. It went on. And then the summary
when you start a post like that, some people just need to understand ... It's like, oh, this is going to be a login.
Drama. So the end line though was remind yourself this is Amazon's first MMO. It's a beta. Give them a break. And I completely agree. Completely agree.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they have
Um,
to do this right. They have to
Just
They
because they're
have
a
to see.
Yeah. Sorry. Go on. Carry on.
They're like they have to. They don't have any data to go off in terms of knowing what it's going to be like running servers with this player base and knowing the stress they're going to be under. So they have to do it, and I mean, if anything, it's a good sign that they're actually doing this much maintenance because it shows that they're actively monitoring it and they're actively trying to fix the issues. If there was all these issues and they only did it like one patch or something or one bit of maintenance over a week, you'd be a bit worried that they're not taking it like seriously enough.
I think what people forget is your resources. Just because you've got millions, and I mean multiple billions and all that sort of stuff, just because you've got the world's biggest piggy bank at your disposal, guess what? You still have no experience making MMOs. You've made a couple of games. You made Crucible, which didn't do so well, and you're not an experienced studio with decades of experience. So no matter how much resource you've got, you might hire some great talent. You as a team have never made an MMO. And for where they are right now, I think they're smashing it. I think they're doing a brilliant job. They've made a game that I get up like, and I first thing I want to do is I want to switch the PC on and I want to see what's going on New World. And then when I come home from work, I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to my friends, and I want to go on New World. And I've not had a game like that at the ripe old age of 31. I've not had a game like that in a long time. So I think they're doing brilliantly. I think people should cut them some slack. This was probably the post out of the top 5 where I was like, yeah, fair play. That's a good post.
I don't think it is. I think the majority of the player base understand though it's a beta. Like most people are going to be experienced gamers who've been participating in betas in the past. I think it's probably just a minority who are
the loud minority, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
The loud minority. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I do. Okay. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Before I play devil's advocate, I'm gonna say I 100% agree with the post. Everything I said before, I reiterate now. Like, it's beta. I'm not gonna get mad. I expect this. Like, I'm fine with it. I'm not mad at Amazon in any way, shape, or form. On devil's advocate side here, all right. This is not the first game that they've tried to release. So, like, they have got a little experience trying to make some games, and on that end, that's all I'll say about that. Like, Crucible was an example. I think there were 3 games that all wound up failing. I know Crucible was one. I forget the other 2, though.
Look at the size of the... Yeah, Crucible was like the biggest of the ones that failed.
Yeah.
And that was a minnow compared to the great white shark that is New World.
I agree. I wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I don't actually know what the numbers are compared to Crucible but it's just even with Crucible though, right? The server size is a lot smaller than this MMO size, so you can't really draw that many.
I'm gonna get you some numbers. I'm gonna find it.
My bigger devil's advocate point with this would be, it is a little on the concerning side. This is a closed beta. The only people that have access to this beta are the people that have pre-ordered and the people that you have given codes to, aka, right, like for me, for example, content creator program, I have access. They gave me 5 keys to give out, right? Like, they literally should have known the number of people that will play their game, because it's the people that they have the stats. Like, they know, like, it's a closed, it's whoever bought it and whoever you gave keys to. So that, like, that's it. So it is a little on the concerning side that on the devil's advocate side, they should have known the number of people because they should have had the numbers. And so then it's a matter of prepping for it.
I think that is a valid point though. Like, if you are opening yourself up to scrutiny when you basically give the beta access for free when you pre-order, because then you don't know you're basically people paying up front, even though it's a beta and people should understand that in terms of you're trying to testing. If you have a sample size, you have no idea how many people are going to pre-order it, and you could just get completely overwhelmed. Which it does. I don't think they'd be completely overwhelmed, but I think they're probably a bit shocked at the number of people who are actually putting it on. Hence, and you can see from the fact that even today on the forums they've said they've opened up. I don't know how many more servers they opened up, but it's at least like 10 or 15. And then, like you're saying, on the US servers, like 45-minute waits to get on. Like that was yeah, that's a lot of people.
Minimum. My queue
Yeah.
timer, like my place in queue would go down, and the amount of time would go up. It didn't
So what was
exactly
how-
make sense.
How many people are in the queue? Like, what's this in
Right,
your queue?
hang on. Let me give you some stats.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
give you some numbers here. So, I think I've Steam charted this. So, bearing in mind, Amazon runs games off of other platforms. It doesn't just exclusively use Steam.
Right.
But safe to assume, Steam is huge. Lots of people use Steam. Us three, we all use Steam, right?
Yeah, I'm on Steam.
This is
Right, okay.
actually the only thing I play on Steam.
Cool. Right. So, let me give you Crucible's numbers. Right. So, Crucible upon launch, the day it launched, it hit its peak, 25,145 players. Okay, on day one. That was on May 20th. Sorry, 2020. By June 20th, June 20th, 2020, the player count had gone to 330 players in a 24-hour window, and it's never gone higher. Crucible's players today, 3. Online right now, 1.
Wait, how? I thought I thought the game was gone. I didn't even think you could touch it.
Apparently, there's somebody.
There's one lad. who's
Guys,
committed.
Crucible's alive. It's doing better than we thought.
Gaben's a big fan, so he's still on it at home playing on his solo. Anyway, right. So, New World right now. The servers. I don't know if the servers are back up or if this is today's peak. 190,658 is today's high.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
That's just Steam.
Was like 170 or 180,000 concurrent, like at the same time playing, and that was just for the beta.
Yeah, that's proof to me of my Minnow Great Shark statement.
Yeah, no, 1,000%.
I mean, that's looking at top games by current players. Current players like Apex is 135, so it's kind of like Apex, Rust, PoE. I love how I love how Football Manager is always in the top 10 as well. It just cracks me up.
See that game? Just a sidebar, not talking about 2 seconds off of New World. Splitgate, that indie developer brought out like a Halo Portal shooter, and it's got like mad popular. Anyway, Steam charts. Coming back to the forums on New World. The number one post literally was Syndicate overpopulated. and I don't know which factions did you guys choose. Who did you go for? And I don't know if
Syndicate the Greens.
Syndicate, baby. No,
Marauders the Greens.
Oh, I'm part of the Green crew.
Okay, so you went for the middle crew. They're like
I only went there because all my other friends who are already on it have picked Syndicate.
You're a pirate,
fucking Marauder crew. So I'm like, okay, I'm joining suit then.
You're a pirate who doesn't want to go out to sea. Cool. Okay, fair play. They're the middle. They're the middle in popularity.
I'm a dirty land grubber.
Yeah, fine. Syndicate are the really super seeking intelligence. Basically, the Illuminati, the purple ones.
No.
Rich, did you go Syndicate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, the plague doctory looking people, the smart people.
Yeah.
It was the only right option.
Okay, so I was going to go Syndicate, and then I saw the numbers, and I was like the ratios, and I was like, nah, fuck it, I'm going to back the underdog. I went for the spark-seeking, have you got a moment to let the spark into your life? Covenant boys.
Are you gonna pick them in the full release? You reckon?
I don't know. I like my guild, so yeah, probably. Like, I have no affiliation. I have no empathy. Like their story, okay, it's cool, right? Whatever. It means nothing to me. I don't find their gear overly appealing. I'd probably agree with you. I think the Witch Doctor looking Syndicate look the coolest.
Yeah.
Actually, if I was going to go for story, I like the pirates who don't go to sea. I think that's hilarious. Just we're gonna plunder everything on land. But I was like, no, I'm going to back the underdog. I'm going to join the little guy, and I'm going to be in the fight. And I'm going to
keep it real with you. Literally, this game feels like it's a giant syndicate versus Marauder Wars, and then you got like the little tiny covenants. Like, guys, notice us. Like, we exist. Like, please, you can find us too if you want.
I saw a brilliant meme that you would love, and it's like that statement. So you guys have played the original, some of the older Grand Theft Autos, yeah, like Vice City.
Yeah.
So it was the Marauders, and it had the Green Gang from Vice City, and it just said the Marauders, and then it had the Purple Gang, and it had Syndicate above it. And then it just had a big capital letter Covenant, and underneath it had a white page with 404 not found. I thought it was a really good meme. Anyway, so are we saying Syndicate? We're not saying overpowered, by the way. We're saying overpopulated. They need.
What is the proportions? Is it basically like 40-40-10 or something like that?
Right.
Or
You talk. I'll try and find stats. Oh, mate, I think it's even more than that. I think it's like 60-20-10.
oh wow, okay.
It's massively out of proportion.
It's funny because in all the servers, like, so I shouldn't say all the servers. Like I've been in 2 servers, right? Like those. So I've seen both sides, and both of them honestly felt like. So it's Olympus on NA East, and then it was Murias on NA West, and both of them have felt like green has the bigger population. Like there are more marauders. But it just kind of feels like purple's better.
Okay.
Like it just feels like purple's better.
Okay, so there's no official numbers. Oh, it's an old tweet. It's a very old tweet. And so this is actually back from last year. New World did a straw poll, and Syndicate got like 45%. Marauders got 35%, and Covenant got 20% back then. And I'd say it's probably not far off now, but if anything, Syndicate
It's
is
probably wider though.
I actually reckon you've probably got something smaller for Covenant, smaller for Marauders, and all of the difference goes to Syndicate.
I mean, I'm just basing it off. I've seen a lot of green and red armor running around, not a lot of the yellow one.
No, you don't see the Spark Boys. We just knock your door every now and again and say, "Hello, sir. Would you like to let the spark into
Yeah,
your
like
life?"
Jehovah's Witnesses. Of,
Yeah. And if you don't, we kick off.
And just like them, nobody cares about them, and you don't open the door for them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's mean. I mean, it's true, but it's mean.
True. Yeah. You venture anywhere with a PvP side, you know that there's 2 different factions you got to watch out for.
Yeah. No, I agree with this post. I think they need to do something to address, like, there's got to be a cap or something like that on each server, how many people can get into it, or something. I don't know. They've got to do something to balance it. I agree with this post. This post is bang on, and that's probably why it's number 1 on the forums this week. Do you guys agree?
And it's gonna if it's massively unbalanced, it's gonna kind of slightly ruin the whole faction wars type stuff. If you've got a massive player base on one and fuck all on the other, it's gonna be an absolute steamroller otherwise.
The other reason I chose the little guy is I want to, surely there's going to be more demand for me to play in PvP stuff because there's less players. So if there's more wars, I get to play more of them when others have to share their PvP. I don't know.
Depends you like getting steamrolled all the time.
Well, no, because in like wars and stuff, it's 50-50. It's even numbers. But there's going to be guilds with like multiple sub guilds that make up one mega guild. And they're not going to be able to get in on wars.
Here's the thing though, to get into the war, to even initiate a war, you have to do enough faction points in that so let's say we're in Everfall and the Syndicate, the purple people own Everfall, and you're Covenant and you want to start a war so that you can take it. You have to do a ton of faction points as a whole Covenant in the entire server in Everfall in order to even initiate it.
Yeah.
But if let's say you only have 20 people doing, faction missions in Everfall on repeat, but Syndicate has 80 people doing faction missions on repeat, you're never starting that war.
Yeah, you're going to be defending a lot.
That's like, it just won't even initiate because you don't have enough points to even initiate it. So that's kind of where it's going to come in, and potentially, like, if there's a bunch of Syndicate and there's no Covenant, like Covenant might struggle to start wars if that's the case. I doubt it gets that bad, but it's just a concern.
But yeah, it's a concern though. It's probably something they do need to address though, because it's going to ruin an aspect of the game, like quite a big aspect of the PvP, right, and the whole faction component of the whole game. If you're a part of the faction which can't do anything or you don't have enough people, it's like, oh well, screw me, I guess.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, the honourable mention that I didn't come to in between second and first place, however, this is actually quite a good one. So for everybody listening, I said at the beginning of the podcast that we would like to use your voice clips, and you can actually go to the link below the recording, below the Outpost podcast. You can actually leave us a voice clip and you can say what you want. You can swear at us, tell us we're dickheads. But in between all of that,
hot. That works too. We also receive compliments.
There's also that. We've got good voice, whatever. Compliments, bribes, and everything else. But in between insults, if you want to leave us a point on this one, this is a good one for you guys, the listeners, to get involved with. So would like to know your thoughts on this, and we'll finish our points and we'll wrap up on this one. My honourable mention, and it was the most viewed post and the most liked, but it had very few comments, which I found weird. The post was called, "The PvP combat in this game is now a shadow of its former self." So we're all beta players. We don't know what alpha was like, but I'll give you this extract and your heads can start going where mine was. "With the removal of stagger, your attacks feel less impactful and weighty. All the strategy, timing and placement that I expected during the preview has been gutted. The duels I've experienced thus far have, for the most part, just been left-click mash race to death. Please reconsider this change." So it kind of goes back to our point about prediction versus retaliation and reaction. It sounds like the stagger mechanic might be something that needs to make an appearance back again. Now, for all the listeners out there, if any of you played an alpha or if any of you can comment on that at all, I'd be well interested to hear. I guess us three as beta players, probably not the best to weigh in on that.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what the stagger mechanic was.
Yeah,
I assume it's if you get hit by a meaty weapon, it lowers your movement or something. I don't know. I guess it's something like that.
You
Well,
basically
I'm
are
sure
more
somebody-
punished when you get hit. My understanding was you get staggered, right? So you can't like immediately dodge roll. Essentially, was the TLDR, right? In the way it works right now, I could hit you with my auto attack with a fat axe in the face, and you're just gonna double dodge roll, and then I have to like spend my dash to either get to you, or I have to find a way to double dodge roll and root you somehow. Like there's I think you used to get staggered and then used to not be able to like immediately dodge roll right away, which would be really nice if they brought that back.
I mean, it makes sense, right? If you get hit by a fucking two-handed warhammer, I doubt you'll be casually dodge rolling away straight afterwards.
You're going to be gathering your thoughts for a minute, right?
Yeah, you're going to be like, "Ow, that hurt a little bit."
Fuck me. I mean, I
Tis
was
but a
just
scratch.
mining.
Yeah.
I was just mining ore, and now this motherfucker's here with a hammer. Look, I say I'm not going to comment. I do think the combat, whilst I think it is actually really, really fucking enjoyable, I do think it needs a work towards being more reactive in the blocking and the movement, rather than, I guess you're going to hit me, so shieldy. Yeah, reactive over predictive, I think is definitely the way to go. If you know more than us, leave us a
Trust
voice
me.
note, leave us a comment,
yeah,
and I'm sure there's loads of people out there. And look, if you've got a comment on anything we've talked about today, chuck it down there. We'd be stripping out all the clips that aren't barrages of insults, and maybe a couple insults. I don't know. Let's find out. And we'll chuck them into next week's episode, which will be released on Sunday. We're going to be doing this every Sunday. We're going to have to think about some clever stuff to talk about for the month where we don't have a game to play. I feel like we'll just be that Pablo Escobar meme where he sat on the swing and looking at the end of his pool with no new world to play. But we'll think of some content to keep the podcast going every Sunday.
We'll make it fun.
At this point, let's sign off. Let's call it a day. Let's make this official, and we'll finish up recording, and we'll get this up and out for the thousands and thousands, or whoever decides to listen to this podcast on their drive to work. Pritch, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for coming on over. Again, if you guys want to find Pritch, it's just Pritch on YouTube and Pritch5 on Twitch. Go and check out his YouTube videos if you're in need of a good few grins. If you want to find Heatz on Twitch, it's Heatz, Heatz spelled with a Z, and then 3 underscores because somebody keeps taking his name on every platform that exists to man. You can find these lovely gentlemen in New World pretty constantly, both on EU times for Heatz, US times for our friend in the States, Pritch. Other than that, guys, thanks for joining. Thanks for coming and hosting. We'll do it all again, yeah?
Thanks, everybody.
Take it easy, everyone. Thanks for now. See you on the next one.
Bye.